Welcome to another episode of Coffee with the County. Today I am with Brock Anderson and Jody Grund, inspectors in our environmental services area and specifically around septic inspection on new development. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Hey, Mark.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Outstanding.
Good. Do you have a lot of inspections go on when it's 40 below? You don't have to go out there and do it at that time, do you?
Nope, we get caught up on paperwork over the winter. It's kind of nice. Great.
So tell me a little bit first, always interested in you guys and interested in the staff. I'll start with you, Brock. How long have you been with the county and where'd you come from and how'd you get here?
I've been with Aiken County for 2.5 years. I actually grew up just north of Hill City in Itasca County, so very familiar with the area. Previously worked at Blandon Paper Company in Grand Rapids, so kind of always been around the natural resource field since I got out of college.
Nice time with Aiken County. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate that. Hopefully you're here for 20, 30 more years as we go.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Jody, how about you?
I have seniority on Brock, so I started 3 days before Brock.
Awesome.
So I get the new car and stuff like that, and Brock gets to drive the old Impala, so I'm pretty lucky there. So I've lived in Aiken since 2020. I moved up from Faribault, which is south of the cities, and we all love it. It's the best thing I've done for my family, so pretty excited to be here.
Yeah, good to hear. We're glad to have you guys here.
Yeah.
And we're here today to talk about one of the fun things in our world, right, in the county world of septic inspection. So listeners, don't hang up your lines or cut off your feeds right now. These are things that are very important to the development of our area and also very important to the protection of our beautiful natural resources that we have, because it is naturally better here in Aiken County, and we want to make sure that we keep that. So tell me what specifically septic inspection means first off in a general level. What do you guys focus on?
Our job focuses more on new systems going in, so we work a lot with septic installers, contractors in the area when they put in an actual new system. So we go in and inspect basically their work and the design work just to make sure they're doing their job correctly, they're meeting the state statutes and so on and so forth on that level.
So you talked about new development, like new housing, new anything that's going in. Is that commercial too? So new businesses that might be building?
Yep. And Aiken County's pretty rural, so most people are on septic systems or individual septic systems that their sewage gets treated on site in any business, or also replacing. Like if you have a drain field that's failed, maybe it's plugged up or something, then you have to get a new one put in, and so we do a lot of those too. So we did over 200 systems were put in last year. So.
Wow, that's a huge number. I didn't realize that number would be that high for a county our size, but that's really
about all the our towns are small. Most people live out of in the country.
So when somebody has to put in a septic system, obviously we joked about it at the beginning, but it's hugely important to do it right, do it to regulations, make sure that you're doing all the right things, and that's what you guys are there to do, is to make sure, like you said, Brock, that the installers or the designers are doing it correctly for the area, because we want to keep our natural resources clean and pristine and make sure that we've got all that going. What is, you talk about development, you talk about new design, different things like that. You deal with a lot of new designs on septic systems?
Yep, so each project has to have a designer come out and do the design, so we make sure that it's designed correctly.
Yeah, just one point on that too is a lot of our lots, especially these lake lots, they're getting smaller and smaller. So these designs are getting a little bit more sophisticated. For those particular ones, it's a lot more attention to detail, looking at them a little bit more thoroughly.
I can picture in my head a lot of different areas in our rural area of Aiken County on lakes and things like that, where the plots are, the lake lots are small, like you say, and how do you fit that septic in responsibly and that type of thing. So it's a pretty important. I'm still amazed by the 200 or so that you said.
Yep.
That
it is
that has been done. That's quite a bit, and that's a number that I bet would surprise a lot of people that are listening out there. That development is ongoing in the area.
I talked to an installer this week, and he said that he's already on par for this year from last year. So development is still there. And also, another important thing that we do is we document everything, take pictures, so that if down the road you want to know what your system looks like or what's put there, you can look it up on our website, on the GIS map. And also, in order to do projects, like if you're in Shoreland, if you wanted to do an addition on your house, you either have to have a compliance inspection within 3 years, or if your system was installed within 5 years, our documentation would cover that. So you'd be able to do your project without any added.
So you're there as that support for any resident that wants to take a look at future plans on their area. You've got the docs to back it up, and people understand it, and you guys are the experts, and that's a good thing, right? That doesn't just come with the title. You guys have gone through some extensive training. I'm assuming, I know from Jody telling me that there's a ton of training as this goes on. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yep, so the MPCA has certifications for each. So you have to take basic septic school, basic install, basic design, soils. Soils is the most important part of a septic system, is what you have for soils. Then you also have your inspectors courses. So they're usually a week long and pretty fun to be at.
I love it.
The tests are really challenging too.
Yeah,
I can imagine. Are those annual? Or is that annual certification or?
So you take the test, and after you get your license, you get certified. Then all you have to do is keep up with your continuing ed.
Okay.
So no more tests.
Yeah, but for those of you that are out there, like I said, it doesn't just come with a title. You have to you have to know your stuff and be experts. And you guys, good compliments to all of you on being experts in the field. I know our environmental services team. I talked with Andrew. He's been in. You guys coming in. We'd love to get the rest of them in to talk about different things. But we're all really proud of the work that you're doing out there. And for 99% of the people, they leave here happy when they're done. There's the one or two that we hope that we get further education for them on how to do it better, or not us as staff members on people that are out there. Sometimes the answer will simply be no, we can't do that, and usually it's a state statute that's forcing us to say no. But 99% of the time, I've heard nothing but compliments on your team, and I really compliment you guys here today on that. So keep up that good work and as experts in the field. We also switch now a little bit to, we talked about development a little bit, and I'm sure there's tons of septic systems that are out there now. Any advice or any things you want to talk about on upkeep for septic systems, some things that residents should know and do?
Yep, so my story is I grew up in town, didn't have a septic system, so when I moved to the country, when I flushed the toilet, the water went away, everything was good to go. Had no idea where it went, but all I know is it was gone. When we moved, we had to get a compliance inspection. And we had a pumper come out, and he said that my tank was the worst tank that he had experienced in 14 years. Wow. And I had to pay extra, and it also kind of affected where my drain field was. So I think the most important part of owning a septic system is maintaining it. It's just like a car, where if I don't change the oil in my car, it's not going to last very long. So if you don't get your septic system pumped and inspected, they say every 3 years you want your septic system pumped, and you got to be careful about what you put down your drain too.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing. Don't be flushing the wipes down the drain, even if they say they're flushable, things like that. Anything that's not going to be dissolved, because that could ruin a system. And like Jody said, I think the biggest thing is just like take a few minutes out of your time and walk around your yard and just get familiar on what happens when I do flush the toilet, and where does it go to my tank, and then from my tank, where does it go to my drain field. And if you have questions on that, you can stop into the office and ask us, or you should get your tank pumped once every 3 years. Ask the maintainer just to walk you through that so you know where everything is. I mean, a big thing with the drain field too is if you don't know where it is, You don't want to be driving on it with your vehicles or heavy equipment and so on and so forth could ruin it. And it's a big investment. You don't want to have to put in a new system for, say, $20,000 to $30,000. So you just take care of what you have.
It sounds like if you're doing, and I love the analogy, it's just like a car. You got to change the oil. You got to do maintenance on it. You have to do the maintenance on your septic systems. You can't just leave them out there and ignore them, because when they do become a problem, it sounds like they're a very expensive problem at times. So make sure that you're dealing with the local septic folks or companies in the area that do the maintenance and do the routine pumping and that type of thing. Make sure that you're dealing with them, and they'll guide you through. If there are questions on new development or questions on, anything that has to do with somebody's septic system, can they just reach out to you guys? Can they get a hold of you here in the county?
Yep. So one thing is our website has really a lot of resources. So you go under Aiken County and then Environmental Services, and then you click on the Septic Systems tab, and there's two tabs. There's one is Septic Information, and that's going to you can get to the MPCA's website and tell you what you need to do to maintain your septic. And also there's Septic Resources, and under that tab you can kind of get what you need to do for your permits and what you need, and it also has a list of septic professionals so that you can call that are local.
That's if perfect. You're looking at a lot that you want new development or you're planning on building in the future, I think like Jody said, you go to that septic professionals, get a few septic designers, get a hold of them, get one to come out and kind of look at your lot. I think the most important thing on development is figuring out where your septic system is going first before you kind of plan on where your house is going, because system all depends on the soils, and the better the soils you find, the less the system's going to cost you.
One misconception about that is we get a lot of people saying, I just want to do a holding tank. And just this past week, I had somebody call me and say, hey, we want to put in a drain field too, because having a holding tank is the most expensive way to treat your waste. So you have to have a maintainer come out, and if you're using it, if you live there full time, maybe you don't live there full time right now, but down the road, this lady, they just moved up here full time and they do not have a drain field, so they just have holding tanks, and it's very expensive for them to have somebody come out once or twice a month to drain that septic tank. So, and we are very lucky in Aiken County. So Brock and I just got done with a big conference for the state, and we're very lucky to have a lot of very good professionals that deal with septic systems in Aiken County. So rest assured, if you check out our list and they're from Aiken, they're 99% of the time they're going to be great for you. So.
Yeah, that's great. I know if I'm not an expert in any of this, as you know, and if I'm building a house and I've got this piece of land and I want to put stuff and I have these ideas, I know that the best thing to do is get a hold of Environmental Services, sit down and talk about the plan, understand where things are going to go, because it's intimidating from a resident standpoint. That's a lot of things coming at them. And I've heard that from Andrew too. Just come and sit down with the Environmental Services team if you're out in the county and you have an idea or plans, and they'll guide you through from beginning to end. And that's really been a special thing that I've seen work here through your department. So thank you for that.
We field a lot of calls from people that are looking to buy. So they call us before they buy, and that is huge, because I hate getting the call where somebody says, hey, I want to do this. I just bought this property, and I'm like, you're kind of limited on what you can do. So that's the first thing I would recommend, is calling the county and finding out what you can do on this property before you even buy it.
A lot of people here to help support, help answer your questions, and ultimately help protect our county and keep it in the responsible natural resource county that we stand for, and we thank you for doing that. Anything else that comes to mind that you want to talk about that I missed?
Where are the fish biting?
I never get a response on that. Whenever I ask that, in the lake is the last sarcastic thing that I've ever heard. But well, guys, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate it. Anytime something comes up that you need the public to know about, please feel free to just pop in and we can do a quick podcast and get that message out there. That's what we're here to try to do, is just help educate and inform our community. And again, second part is to show off the great staff that we have here at Aiken County, so the taxpayers know there are professionals and experts in their fields working every day for you out there and making things work for the county. So thank you for that. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mark.
You're listening to Coffee with the County.